Hi guys, 14th Prime here, back to another video review, and today we're not only going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Legacy Core Class Shockwave, but I thought we'd take a little trip down his Generations Legend scale lineage. You know, he's had some, so we're going to be taking a look at him, as well as the Studio Series Core Class Shockwave, and the Combiner Wars Legends Class Shockwave. So we're going to start off with the very first one of these, which is the Combiner Wars one. Now, this figure has caused Shockwave to have this weird reputation in the Legend scale. He ends up in it kinda often, or at least just small scale. Like, ever since Combiner Wars, he ends up with a new, like, small scale toy every now and again. More often than the others. Like, I don't think Soundwave ever got a Legend scale, like, figure from Hasbro that wasn't from Dark of the Moon or Revenge of the Fallen before the Kingdom one. He ends up in here probably more often than Starscream, like, or Megatron, or even Bumblebee. There's 4 of them now, from like just generations. But I could be wrong, could easily be wrong. But here he is in his alt mode, and this is very much meant to be a gun, because during Combiner Wars he was actually paired with the Combaticon, so he was specifically designed to be a gun with a handle that folds down for Bruticus, or just the Combiner Wars hand-foot weapons, which would be nice if it didn't have this little block that makes it very difficult for other figures to hold him, or the Perfect Effect hands and feet. But this is 5mm, so if you ever just like shave that down or shave it off, you can do it. But the alt mode itself, I think, looks really nice. I'm not really bothered by the gray. He has like weird spikes on the sides, but I think it's fine. It kind of makes it look like a ship, like just vaguely, you know. I could see this being like the top of a ship here. But he has the targeting sight. Let's see if I can get the focus. You can see the detail. There we go. Come on. You almost had it. There you go. See that there's a little targeting sight there. It's sculpted in on both sides. And the other side, you can mostly see how this is going to work. Then from the front, it is like a little bit hollow, since it is like a gun. But I think they pulled it off well with this little bit of sculpting where the knee bend is. But yeah, I think it's a very solid alt mode. Like, it's very durable. Like everything tabs in super well. You can literally just throw this thing on the ground. It's gonna stay together. But yeah. Now let's take a quick look at the alt mode for the Studio Series one. And this one's also pretty great. This was my favorite core class figure before Iguanas came out. So I have a lot of love for this. I almost reviewed this when it came out because I just really wanted to talk about it. But I decided not to, and I'm glad I waited so now I could do like this little bit of a bigger video. But it is a tank, very similar to the Prime-styled Shockwave tank with the legs in the front, arms in the back. I think it's really nice. It actually has the articulation for a tank, like the turret moves up and down, and it rotates full 360, because it is just plugged into the back of the head, which I think is honestly just kind of hilarious. He does have visible hands, which is actually a trend of all 3 of these, because the Combiner Wars one has like some visible hands, the Legacy one does. We'll get to it. But just, it's a really solid tank mode. Like, it's not as durable. Like, these can easily come undone. So I always gotta like push them out, just make sure it's all straight. He doesn't roll. He has these little indents. I mean, you can fake it, but there's no like little wheels, which I think is fine. I don't think we overly need them. Yeah, in terms of just the tank alt mode, it's pretty solid. Again, it's just very reminiscent of the Prime one, which is just, you know, probably what they were going for, which is a fair alt mode for Shockwave. I think a tank, like a Cybertronian tank, makes more sense for him to have for like a modern alt mode than the gun. But that's just me. And now let's take a quick look at the Legacy one in the alt mode. So I think this is kind of neat just because it's once again like how like Megatron, Prime, Starscream, how they're trying to be like the miniature versions of the bigger toys. So he turns into like the weird ship thing. So like he even has like the guns. Like they're not the same. They're not like the exact same shape, but he has like the guns that the armored one has. This is where like the feet would be on the bigger Shockwave. Like it's pretty neat. He also has this gigantic radar dish you can kind of rotate, and even the cockpit. And let me just take that off. Even the cockpit, it's really, really small. But yeah, you can just take this off. And then what I think is really neat about the alt mode is this handle right here, which of course it folds down for the sake of, you know, having someone to hold it, but you also are meant to, yeah, we get into one problem. I'm trying to give this man some credit before I tear him down a little bit. You can actually, like, come on. Let me compliment you. But you're supposed to keep it at an angle so you can actually have it straight on the ground, which is also 5mm, or not 5mm, the 3mm ports there. I don't think the other ones have it. Like Shockwave, this one doesn't have one. It's kind of a downside, but it is in the Underworld, I guess. But it is neat that he has those for flight, or for some reason he has one in the back of the gun. Okay. I think these might be blast compatible. Maybe, like, they kind of look like it. They might not be. I think some parts of this are. Like, I swear that looks like a blast effect nub, but I could be wrong. But just for a fun comparison with this one, since I have it here, here actually is the big, see how zoomed in the camera is, the big leader class one. So you can kind of get a sense of how these are, like, you know, the front of it. Of course, there wouldn't be a giant radar dish, but they had to put something there, I guess. Which, yeah, like, again, you can see, like, the vague wings are the same there. That's where the feet of Shockwave are, and they're sculpted in there. Like, the cockpit here is this. There's neat stuff going on. Okay, I really like the sculpted detail. Like, it's perfect. It's really good. However, like I mentioned, this thing still has its issues. As you saw, the arms don't really tab into this all that well, like this whole mechanism for the transformation, despite the fact that there are 4 tabs. They are worthless. And then getting the gun to, like, the thing I guess that's like a step up above the Combiner Wars one for this one is the fact that this doesn't have anything to get in the way, so characters can much more easily hold it. But the thing is, it's just like, since this all comes on tab and you try to push it in there, it just kind of untabs some of the other stuff. Like, it always untabs the arms, and I always got to situate it back. And I can say, out of the 3, this is the most egregious of the visible hands thing. Because at least with the others, they at least try to hide them, whereas here, they're just right there. If there was enough hollow space back here, I feel like something could have been figured out. But, well, I guess. Like, it is core class. I do kind of throw them a little bit more of a bone. But I think it's still okay. I'm really, again, like, what really impresses me with this alt mode is just the sculpted detail alone, and just how they make it look super similar to the bigger toy. Like, that's what I like about it. And yeah, I guess of the 3 alt mode wise, I don't know. Like, I like the legacy ones. Just like, again, like all the sculpted detail. But the SS80, the Studio Series one, I mean, also has really good sculpted detail. Like I say, out of the 3, Combiner War is honestly like the weakest of the vehicle modes. You know, these 2 might be tied, even though we'll get more into the other 2 of what they shine at later. But for now, let's go ahead and get these 2 out of here and get down to some transformations. So starting off here with, once again, the classic, the man, the myth, the legend, Combiner War Shockwave. This transformation is pretty easy because, you know, all these are going to be pretty easy. It's a Legends figure. So you want to split the legs, move these bits together because it's on one of these. Fold down the legs and rotate them like so, or the hollow bits are facing up here with the sight. Flip these down, and then you got the legs all done. He's getting slightly too tall. Move the arms out. You can go ahead and extend them on both sides. Take this, straighten it out, rotate it back, it should click, and then as you push the rest of that to the back, his head folds up. And that's it. Really, really simple, really fun transformation. I can sit there and just do this over and over and over again. I really like it. I love this transformation. It's so good. It's so much fun. Anyways, now on to the Studio Series one. So first, you do want to take off the gun, which is the only instance of, like, necessary parts forming. Like, I know the Legacy one does it with this accessory, but if you lose that, you don't really lose that much of the alt mode's identity. With this, you need it, you know? But anyways, You want to just push the arms in just to kind of get them unslotted from these. Take the chest, open that up, and take the legs off. Flip the chest up, take the legs, and you want to straighten them out. Flip up the feet. Come around here to the torso bit and just rotate it up. Get the chest and just kind of plug it in. Rotate down the arms. Take them, rotate it there at the bicep. Rotate around the head. And here is a little Shockwave in his robot mode, which again I like, very similar to the Combiner Wars one. I think the transformation here is really fun. I like the Combiner Wars one just slightly more, but I think this one's is still pretty great, which of course you can just go ahead and give him the gun, fold that down, put it in his hand, there you go. And finally, the Legacy one, which, once again, parts forming, but I'd say this one, it's like this accessory, while it's very well painted, okay, I love looking at it from this side, actually, just seeing the dome of silver. But this is nice too, even though my red's like chipped in one or two places. But I do think it's very cool. But yeah, transformation on this guy is, it's still alright. I think the transformations honestly just kind of slope down as we go along. But you want to untab the legs and rotate them out. Rotate the legs in for the ball joints, which you'll notice transformation is actually very similar to the Combiner Wars one. At least where everything lands. But you want to rotate the legs down like that, and then flip them up, but you want to flip this piece here up with them. And it should kind of like soft lock into place. We'll get more into that. The backpack here will fold down. You can go ahead and actually get the handle to go out along with it. And similar to the Combiner Wars one, as you fold the backpack down, this will also fold down, except this is really, really stiff, so you gotta like push. You hear an audible click. You take these and just fold them in, and then take the arms and rotate them down. And then here is Legacy Shockwave in his robot mode, which his transformation is much more difficult going. There he goes falling over. His transformation is much more difficult going the opposite direction. I think vehicle to robot is fine. It's just robot to vehicle, having to tab in the arms is a pain. But it's still alright. It's still mostly fun. I still like it. It's neat. But so, we'll actually go ahead and just put them all here together. Let's do it like this. So you can just see how he kind of looks throughout the ages, or the about year difference between these two. Not even year. It's like, didn't they both come out? Like, yeah, he came out like earlier this year, and he's now. They're not even too far apart, but yeah, you just kind of see the evolution, I guess, which is always neat. But anyways, in order, starting with Combiner Wars, which just very nice. I love the proportions on this. I can say the head is a touch small, but I think proportionally everything else is fine. Which even then, the head is crisp. Like that is super. Like that is much smaller than like my pinky nail. It's that small. Like it's very, very tiny, but yet it is very crisply sculpted and painted. It's mad. Of course, he's got like some clear bits on him, which we'll talk about in a second. But he's got some clear hands. I actually like the addition of the clear, just like the clear and the color scheme. Like it makes Shockwave's colors just kind of pop a lot more, and like the kind of like sort of shiny purple. It's not metallic, but it's just a lot of it just looks very shiny mixed with like the gray and the clear like purplish pink. I think all forms really nicely. So his colors definitely just absolutely work for me. I can see one negative of this being the fact that a lot of it is clear plastic. These arms are entirely clear plastic. These legs from the knee down, aside from the feet, are clear plastic. I mean the arms, like the elbow down, like this bit. And I don't think the torso is. I think this is actually just a separate piece. But I can see that as being a negative. However, I mean it's been since 2015. We're fine. Like I can just toss him, and his arm didn't break off. I think we're good. Articulation on him, the head cannot really look up at all. He can look down a lot, and I don't know who he's looking down at this size. It's on a ball joint, so you can actually get pretty expressive with it. The arms can go about that far on the shoulders, or if you want to use transformation joint, you can get a bit more motion. Elbows bend at 90 degrees. They're on ball joints, so they can swivel. Nothing at the wrist, nothing at the waist. Legs can go up that far, back that far. Full splits. Rotate at the thigh. Complete and total knee bend. And then the feet, just due to transformation, can move back. And then, of course, the really nice part about his articulation is he has the kind of hips that you can... They're like on this little double hinge type thing. I can't remember what these are called. But it's where you can get them to go much higher. Like, you can only go that high when they're like that, but if you move them out, go even further, and the same thing back. You can just do a lot more with them, and they're just so nice. So yeah, his posability is absolutely top-notch. Robot mode, perfection. Transformation, still pretty good. The alt mode is just really the only thing that's like, it's not bad or anything, but I think of the three, it is not bad at all, but like of the three, the alt mode is definitely the weakest on this guy. But everything else is really, really good. So with that said, Studio Series, which this is really good sculpting and work for a completely different reason. Like, the sculpt work on this is insane. The amount of stuff they can get on this toy at this size, ridiculous. Like, look at all that. Look at all that detail. It blows my mind. Got that, and like, even on the back, there was like all that detail. It's just crisp. It's so good. One thing that is just like pure quality is the sheer amount of like plastic and paint colors on this. Not all the purple is molded in purple. And it took me, like, days to realize that when I got the figure in hand. Like, the legs here are molded in, like, this gray, and the purple is painted. And then the gun, I think, is probably also molded in gray, and it's painted. Not only is it painted purple, but gunmetal and silver. And it even has, like, yellow for the eye, a different shade of purple here for the chest, the silver trim. Like, this is quality, if you would stand. This is quality. Like, pure, unapologetic quality for a Hasbro core class figure, or just legend scale in general. It is extremely impressive what the sculpting and design teams are like able to do with this figure. Articulation on the head is just on a mushroom peg, but it can still go a full 360. Arms can't go out too far. They can do a full 360. A little bit of elbow bend. It's a bit under 90. Let me get it. Like, it's a good bit under 90. It has a swivel here due to the transformation, so you can be like, darn you for trying to come to Cybertron again, or he can be like, destroy the launch pad. That's the funny thing he said in the movie, right? Nothing at the waist. Your legs can't really go up too far. Go back a little bit. If you want to like cheat a little bit with that, you can. If you want to like move it out of the way just a touch, you can get it going a little bit higher. Which, yeah, Shockwave's thick thighs are one downside, which also due to the transformation, he has no thigh swivel, which is probably like the one thing is just kind of about the figure for me, is there's no thigh swivel there, just because they move out like that, which granted, they probably could have made this a ball joint, but I don't know. Knees bend a good little bit, and then the feet can actually, let me move the leg out, the feet can actually go up and down due to the transformation, so that actually helps him out a lot with just, with a good bit of poses. Like, for me, in terms of action poses, I don't think he can do too much, but just like static standing poses or just stances, like, he's your guy. He looks really nice doing them. But yeah, this one, I don't really think it's as good as the Combiner Wars one, just because articulation takes a hit for me in like at least enough of a way. But the sculpting's insane. This is easily the one with the best paintwork of the three. And probably like the best paintwork I've seen in the core class line, period. Just because of how much is here. Like, it's just very, very impressive. Which just kind of makes me more excited for the live action core class figures. I hope they do more. I hope they get into like the Bay trilogy ones. Like, I'd love to see a new Peterbilt Optimus Prime as a core class figure. Like, I'd lose it. I want one so bad. But yeah, another one, very, very solid pickup. Can highly recommend getting this one, which I think I saw a report the other day that like he's at Target. Like, Target has them on sale for like $6. Go. Just go now. Just or no, go after the video. and buy one. They're so good. It's definitely worth your money. And then we get to current. Current legacy one. So again, right off the bat, we're going to go with positives. The head sculpt is really, really nice. It's pretty much just like what the Combiner Wars one wanted to go for, except actually properly proportioned. I love the beating yellow eye, and unfortunately it doesn't show up on camera as much, but the purple is actually a lot deeper. For some reason, when purple gets to a certain hue on my camera, it looks blue. But it's like an actual deep purple. It's actually it might be the same shade as the Siege one, which is just really impressive. But even the back kibble on him, he has a little bit, but it's fairly flush on there. I kind of wish these could tab off, because I know I can pop them off, but I kind of wish they could interact. Imagine if they made 3mm ports on the insides of these that could plug into the sides of his arms or plug into these shoulders. He has that. These could have been his accessories. These could have been his accessories. I didn't even think about that till now. Oh my god, that would have been cool. Instead of this. We'll get more into this later. But his sculpting is once again just fantastic. They've been killing it with the core class with getting the sculpting just right. And especially since this is a smaller version based on a Siege toy, which has way more sculpting than the Earthrise ones. Oof. It's really nice. Articulation on him. The head is also, once again, a mushroom peg that gets really tight when you try to go all the way around. There we go. Arms can... You see one little problem there. We'll get into them. The arms can go out on the ball joint that far, but you can also just use the transformation hinge, which the toy will just force you to do anyway. The elbows are ball jointed, so they only get 90 degrees, and they can go side to side. Nothing at the waist. The legs. Alright, this is halfway through the articulation. This is where we gotta talk about it. So, from how he transforms with this hinging out, when I got mine out of the box, I did a little video of it here. When I got mine out of the box, I couldn't move the thighs without moving that piece out too. So it made handling this figure impossible. It was so annoying. I had to fix it immediately, which I'll explain how I fixed it in a second. Because they didn't put a proper locking tab on the waist movement for transformation, so it's just loose. And since the joints are so tight there, they're always going to pull it out. But yeah, I fix it to where I can just move the legs normally, which they go up that far, back that far. Knee bend, though this cap likes to come up. So I guess technically the knees only bend that far, which isn't too bad. And there is a swivel there at the knee, because it is a ball joint. So he's got some decent ones. But yeah, how I ended up fixing this is I honestly just removed the legs, and I kept on shaving down the ball and the socket until they're at a point where I can move them all the way up without untabbing this. I'm sure someone else might have an easier fix, but that's just what I did. But yeah, that's just a major issue on this figure that really bumps it down a lot. Because if you can't fix that issue, it makes playing with him super annoying. But mix that with the fact that these shoulders kind of have a similar issue where you can't really move the ball joint without moving that, which Combiner Wars could have had the same issue, but it actually has these are actually very stiff, so I can move the arms up and down without also moving the entire transformation joint with it. My camera wants to focus back. But this in robot mode really doesn't do a lot. He can't hold it. I don't know if this is going to involve a weapon eventually. I hope it does. That'd be cool. If there's another core class combining weapon, that'd be fun. But he can't hold it. Or what's kind of neat about the fact that there's a port back here so you can plug it into his cannon, so he for some reason just has excuse me, just has this going on. Or it can go into his shoulder for some reason. It's a very weird accessory. Now I'm on the camp that these need to be his accessories. That would have been a lot cooler. Yeah, it's weird. I think it's still kind of neat. It doesn't bother me in any way. I'm not missing too much. I wish at least, if there's anything, I wish the budget for this would have been taken away so I can at least have the hands painted, the hand and the gun. That's really about my only complaint with this. But it's harmless. It's a thing that exists. Yeah, I mean he's still okay. You have to fix him. I don't know if it's just my copy. I really hope it is. I don't want everyone else to have like a sour experience with this like I did. But I really hope that it was just my copy that had that issue. I don't know if it is. I think I've heard one other person say it, but since he's just barely trickling out from Amazon right now, and the fact that I never hear that much chatter about core class figures in general, except for this guy, because everyone was mad he wasn't a Voyager. But well, I guess only time will tell. But yeah, getting the lads all back in here. But yeah, overall, Shockwave just has like a weird history of constantly ending up in the Legend scale line. I don't know why he's just always here. Like Combiner Wars, during the Prime Wars trilogy, the only Shockwave that came out was the Combiner Wars one. And then Studio Series, this one came out before the Voyager, which, guys, calm down. A Voyager will more than likely happen like next year. I don't think there's any leaks about it yet, but they're going to do it. They're already doing like Legends, like core class figures of other ones. Like, I think they're doing Ratchet and Ironhide at the end of the year, or like they're going to show them off soon. I think there's like leaks of it or something. I don't know. But it's going to happen. And then the Legacy one, I love the sculpting on it a lot. I like a lot of the things it does. Like, I love the fact that it's just a miniature version of the bigger toy, but just the stability there, and like it's just, and then the tabbing issues and the vehicle mode with the arms and the backpack, and how like stiff it is to get the head up. It's just, it's a lot. It's kind of upsetting because I really expected this one to be like a top tier core class figure because it's Shockwave. He gets the good ones. Like, again, like freaking best Prime Wars Trilogy Legends figure and one of the best Legends figures ever made to me. Then we get this one who was the best core class figure until Iguana showed up. And then this one who exists. But yeah, I mean, I can still recommend these guys. Especially these two, but if you like Siege Shockwave or just want a little one for the fun of it, he's fine. Maybe wait for a sale. I don't know. But yeah. Anyways, that is pretty much all I have to say. So, please be sure to check out my channel for more video and custom reviews, and please don't forget to subscribe. You can also come check out my Facebook and Tumblr pages, links in the description below. And this is the 14th Prime, signing out.